It's mail day. Want to know what I got? Stay tuned. Hello, fellow card collectors and investors. My name's Chad. I'm the owner of Underdog Empire channel. I'm a qualified accountant by day, sports card enthusiast, and investor by night. The fun part of this journey is, other than ripping up packs, which I know gives some endorphinic, if that's even a word, don't know, release, is mail day. The excitement of the unknown, or more aptly, can't remember what you bought, coming through on the mail day is awesome. So let's get right to it. Super excited. I got a bit of ahead of myself. I cut off the envelope already, as you can see. Obviously blackened out my details so you guys can't see where I live, so you guys can stalk me. But let's get right to it, shall we? So let's go. What cards? These are the very first cards that I've bought. That's empty. That's cool. I can go over there. Right. So these are the very first. As I said, these are the very first cards that I bought, and I bought it off Facebook. So yeah, when I saw them, I was actually pretty chuffed that I got them for. Can't remember how much I paid for them. I think I paid total 20 quid or something. Can't remember. But irrelevant. So let's go. I've got a Steve Nash, another Steve Nash, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, John Stockton again, Kevin Durant, Dennis Rodman, another Stockton, another Charles Barkley. So yeah, as I mentioned, these are the first cards that I ever bought. Getting back into the hobby, I did a bit of research on the cards that are available. At the prices they were, I couldn't really say no, to be fair. So yeah, I ended up buying him, and I was lucky enough. I didn't spot this at the first, but as you can look, this Steve Nash is actually a rookie card. So if I remember correctly, his rookie cards are now starting to explode a bit, purely because of the documentary that is being rumored to come out, which is based on Kobe Bryant. So yeah, I'm hoping that if I get good grades, I'm going to send some of these for PSA, not all of them. More than likely do the Steve Nash one for grading, because it's a rookie card. See what I get. Even if it's a low grade, it's not a problem, because if I don't flip it, then I keep it, and it's a great one for the collection. Because the interesting part about Steve Nash as well is, believe it or not, he's actually born and bred in South Africa, Johannesburg, in fact. Which card did I see it on the other day? Oh, it's this one. So yeah, Johannesburg, South Africa. Ha! The odds of that stuff. So as you guys can tell, I'm not British. I haven't got a British accent. I might sound Australian, as some people like to say, and my partner likes to point out, but I'm born and bred South African. So that was a little nice surprise for when I realized that Steve Nash was actually born in South Africa. So yeah, cool on that front. Then we have, starting over this side before we get to the Stocktons, the Kevin Durant one. I remember looking up on the PSA website for this one. This is what they call a holographic card, as you can tell by the shining, the reflective nature of it. These were relatively, well, based on PSA costs, based on cost I paid, I thought that I could easily then flip this one for profit if I wanted to. Again, if I don't, it's a nice little holographic card of Kevin Durant. He is good. He's obviously posting numbers. So yeah, nice one. We know this is a holographic, a holo, purely because it says Prism at the back here. If you can see that, it says Prism. This particular card, if it wasn't holographic, wouldn't have Prism there. It'd be blank, it'd be by itself, and obviously you wouldn't have the reflective nature on it. So yeah, that's that one. Let's go to Charles Barkley. So the other reason why I thought I'd get Charles Barkley is because of he's iconic, to be fair. And I've seen a few people mention his cards over the last few weeks, well, the weeks prior to me buying this. So I thought, well, it's there for sale. Let me take a look to see again. Go look on PSA to see what if I could get it and flip it. So when I looked at the quality of the cards online on the pictures for the guy selling it, they looked relatively okay. And to be fair, they are. It's not major damage. It's standard wear and tear by the looks of it, but nothing too major. Again, if I could get, even if it's a PSA, I think it was 8 I was looking at. If I could get a PSA 8 on these cards, I could turn it for a potential small profit. But again, if it doesn't, it's a nice one to add to the personal collection, which is good. But looking at these cards closely, very quickly, I don't know if these will be 8. Be lucky if I do, but I don't know. I think it might end up being 7s or lower. Well, I'll be gutted if it's a 6 and lower, to be fair. But anyway, those are those ones. So yeah, the Rodman card. The reason why I chose this one was, one, it's a refractor card, which is cool. 2, he's part of the team that set some decent records back in the day, part of the Jordan squad. And what I've seen with players that was on that squad, and because of the documentary that came out regarding Jordan, i.e. The Last Dance, their cards have seen a spike in value over time. Well, spike in value, and then it's been sustaining as well. So my aim is again to send this off to PSA, get it graded. It's not necessarily the most sought after card, because obviously I think row 0, 6-0, row 0, whatever it was, there's a more sought after card than this one. But nevertheless, I've got a card and it's in decent condition. So I'm hoping for an 8 or better on this one. But yeah, let's see what PSA says. Cool. Moving on to the Stocktons. So similar to what with Charles Barkley, I heard a few people chucking his name about, saying that his cards are due to go up in value, etc. A few weeks prior to me purchasing these cards. So when I saw the opportunity to buy them, I bought them. And they're actually pretty decent cards. So this one I like. The reason why I like this one the most, or not actually the most, the reason why I like this one is because you got Charles Barkley in the same frame as John Stockton throwing a 3-pointer to win the game at the buzzer, which is, as I say, it's $1 million moment. So that's pretty cool. So even if I send it in for grading and it doesn't get a high enough grade to flip, it's always a nice one to add to the collection, purely based on these two players and it's the moment itself. However, looking at the cards, could potentially get 8 or 9. Black bordered cards like this are notoriously difficult to get high grades purely because of the whiting on the edges. So if that comes back at 10, I'm in. Oh well, I think I'll be in the money, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's cool. Then this one, this is the more premium card of the lot, a Flair 95-96. Again, really good quality stock card. It's relatively thick by the looks of it, so that's cool. Again, it's not necessarily a very sought after card. However, I have been seeing recently Jordans and other people within this year in particular going for a high value. Now I don't know if Stockton will do the same, but again, if it does, cha-ching. But otherwise, it's a nice card to have in the collection at the end of the day. I got this one is just the USA basketball one, Skybox. Nothing overly awesome about that, I don't think. Did I? Yes, actually no, I lie. I did look up this card, or all these cards actually, on PSA to see if I could flip them based on what the last PSA sold cost was for PSA 8 versus what the cost would be of PSA for getting it graded, as well as the cost of the card. So yeah, hopefully I can get these ones sorted. But as with everything that I do, I will decide whether I send them in or not. Look over the I'll look over the cards themselves, whether decide whether they're going to end up being higher than an 8. If not, again, I'll just keep them with me. And if I don't fancy them anymore in my collection, I'll then sell them raw. So maybe one of you guys can then pick it up along the way. So yeah, those are the cards from my very first purchase back in the hobby. Um, Remember, do your research, guys. Do your research. It took me a good few hours, a good hour or two, looking at these cards, looking at PSA, weighing up whether it will be good enough. Well, one, good enough to buy. Two, is that the right price? Um, so yeah, as I'll say multiple times, and you're being repetitive with this, is do your own research, do your own due diligence. Don't just take the word from what I say. Look into getting. Don't take the word of anybody else for that matter. And again, I do not provide financial advice. So